Hello and good day, my friends. I am Night Knight, and I would like to introduce you to my favorite video game of all time. This is Threads of Fate for the PS1. I do speedruns of this game. I'm currently second in the world, only to Barbecue Saws, who is a very, very good speedrunner. Today I'd like to do a little walkthrough of the speedrun of this game, just all of the important parts, some of the trickier parts, and a couple of things that I think that a lot of people might not know when they get into speedrunning this game. It is, about 2.5 hours. I mean, once you're learning, it'll probably be around 3 hours. But I say let's just go ahead and get into it. Yeah. So, starting off, this is the first moment that we get control of our character. It's very, very simple to understand. I'm just going to mute that. Pretty much all you do is you go to this gate over here, and you go to the first area, which is Corona Woods. I'm actually going to put this playback speed 2 times. So you come over here, jump over some logs, and then you kill a polywog. That's the first monster that you get. You can transform into monsters as Rue, so it's very important to manage what monsters you have and don't have. Here I'm going to kill a Mandala. I don't transform back into Rue, even though it prompts me to, and I go to the next area. If you're lucky, you can get the one jumping hit on that saber tiger there to kill it instead of having to hit it, 2 or 3 times with the grounded attack and risk getting hit by him. So now there's a little sequence here. I turn into a polywog. Now I do a thing here. I'm going to run that back. And I'm going to set it to normal for a moment. So I transform into the polywog and I go up here. A lot of this game is dialogue and skipping text boxes. Luckily, though, we don't have to mash the action button, which in the English version is X. We can just hold the X button, or the square button for that matter, in order to skip dialogue. Here I'm actually using a strat that I don't think anyone else has figured out yet. You can hold X to skip through dialogue boxes, but you could also press other buttons. So I am holding X right here to skip all of these dialogue boxes, and I am mashing triangle once I get out of this little dialogue box here so that I can get as quick of a hit on Smokey here as I can. So watch this. Just like that. I see a lot of people going for, just mashing X or walking up and then doing the triangle attack. But they miss a very important part. 714. Go back to like 7. Let's go to 708. Yeah. So watch how fast the text skips after I hit him. It's the exact same speed as I was skipping it beforehand. Because one thing that I found out about this game is there is a startup for holding the X or square button when you are skipping dialogue, and that it's somewhat important throughout the run. It can save you a few seconds here and there, and that kind of adds up when you're going for world record. Moments like that would save, a quarter of a second, a half of a second if I was mashing on it. And again, it just adds up throughout the run. So first fight's very simple. I'm going to speed it back up here. Wrong one. First fight's very simple. Transform back into Rue. Run up 1, 2, 3. Step to the side. Hit triangle. I messed up here because I'm bad. But you're supposed to hit both of them there. Step to the left. Hit triangle to hit Smokey and Blood, which knocks Smokey out of the way, and then you do a 1, 2, 3 combo on Blood, and that ends the fight there. I'm just going to skip through here. This next section is pretty easy. It's really just like a pseudo race to get to the end over here before Elena comes over. And as long as you beat her, she gives you a silver coin, which is, again, very important throughout the speedrun because you need to collect a certain number of coins so that you can sell them along with selling your monster tokens when you get back to town so that you can buy better equipment to increase your defense and your attack. Now, I'm going to skip all through this part to right here. This next section, all I have to do is run down a little cliff face. It's pretty easy, but there's a couple of things in here that might be missed if you're just watching casually. Why am I so bad right now at navigating this menu? So, the first thing that I do here, once the screen fades to black, I wait a second or so, and then I start mashing the jump button, and you can see I was going up when this screen started to fade in. I figured out that if you are dropping from the ceiling at the start of a screen, when it loads in, you actually have a few frames that you can jump. And in a few areas, it's actually helpful, like this area right here. As you can see, I skipped that entire first section, not having to deal with any of those enemies and getting all the way down to this part right here, where now I turn into Saber Tiger and I continue on. And you want to just skip as much of this as possible. I pretty much always get hit by that stinger right there, but that's okay. Now we're down to the bottom. All perfectly fine. Yeah, you just run forwards here, come over here, attack these two gargoyles to get their tokens and to get them out of the way. That allows us to transform into gargoyle, stand on this pedestal, and open the stairway to the next part, which is the nightmare fight. You go up to the atelier here, Nightmare falls down from the ceiling. This is one of the most brain-dead fights in the game, and honestly, super, super simple, even casually, really. All you do is you transform into the mandala, and you mash X. And right here, he's dead. It's really as simple as that. So now, there's a little section where you have to run through the atelier up here. There's not a ton to note in this area. Go upstairs and get this chest. I'm going to skip forwards a little bit. Go downstairs, get this chest. Now this is somewhat important to me, at least. I don't know how important it is to other people, but I've had a couple of runs that have lost me a whole second, maybe 2 seconds, on this part right here. So you check the vault here, and right here, Klaus is about to walk up behind me and see if he can take a look at it. So he walks directly up behind me, but you can see now he starts walking slightly to the left because he's going in a direct line to the center of this vault here, slightly to the left of it. I'm pretty sure that no matter where you access this vault from, he will appear directly behind you and then go towards the center. So I've had a couple of runs where I've gotten caught up on Klaus and have, like, in the auto scroll of us walking around, we've actually, like, moved each other enough to where it's lost me a second or two. So that's kind of annoying and something to be mindful of. That's why I go to it on the right side of it, so that he will walk slightly to the left and we don't get caught up on each other. This part right here is only really important to me. You walk outside and you talk to Elena. I am mashing the X button as fast as possible. You might have been able to see it there. Right there. So as this is coming in, there is a text box that appears. Okay? And it's right there. Now, again, what I said earlier about holding the X button or square button in order to skip dialogue, and it has a startup on it. So it doesn't immediately start skipping. It acts as though you've only pressed it once until you've held it down for a second or so. So in situations like this, you want to be mashing so that that text box simply goes away, and then you get through the dialogue even faster. Because now, all of this time there's been no dialogue, I can be holding X so that the startup is negligible. So that's enough of that. It's pretty much an auto scroller as long as you know where you're going from here. I'm going to skip to here because menuing is important. Also, movement in town is kind of finicky. It seems like the closer that you are to the fountain, generally the faster you move. However, because it's all circular, you don't necessarily always want to go straight down to the fountain and then, you know, around and then straight up to wherever it is. But again, I haven't timed that. That's just something that I've noticed and a couple of other people have talked a little bit about. Now, menuing in this game is kind of annoying, and as quickly as you can mash certain parts of it, the faster you will get through the menu, because there's a lot of confirm dialogue boxes, things like that. So as long as you know where you're going and you can mash very quickly, you'll do excellent on it. The only issue is the gate here. So there's a slight delay on a couple of different parts of it that you have to memorize and kind of account for. There's dialogue with Mint here. It's not super important. So you enter underground ruins. This is a Gudon. First thing you want to do is kill a Gudon. Transform into Gargoyle so that you can just hop over all of these guys and not care about them at all. Speed it back up. So we go up one, then we go upright one. And you see I'm transforming into Saber Tiger here because Saber Tiger has the highest move speed of all of the monsters that I have throughout most of this game. I'm pretty sure he's tied for the fastest with Hellhound, which you get only at the end of the game. So a lot of this game, I'm going to try to stay Saber Tiger so that I can move fast. So I transform into Gargoyle here, and then back into Saber Tiger wherever I can. I know some people transform all the way back into Rue, but that's just more menuing in my opinion, and it's honestly safer to go Gargoyle because you can double jump. Now here's a very interesting section. The walls area in Underground Ruins. Some people have a very hard time with this, and it's just because of mashing speed. That's all that it is. If you learn to mash 2 times very quickly, 1, 2, you will be able to get over this wall every single time. So, you're not supposed to be able to get over that wall, I don't think, but it was a slight oversight on the developer's part. So you go up, go to the right once, go back in, over this wall, up and over to the left, back through, up and over to the right, get this one, back through, up and over to the left. Now here, I transform back into Saber Tiger because I'm going to show this at normal speed. A lot of different monsters in this game have a jumping attack. Rue has a jumping attack, for example, base form Rue. And most of the other runners of this game, they will try to hit monsters throughout Underground Ruins so that they can get enough MP for the area over on the right, which I'm about to go to in a minute or two. You need MP to break ice blocks. We'll get to that in a minute. But Rue's jumping attack is actually very slow. Whereas Saber Tiger's jumping attack is very fast, and I actually didn't do that super well right there. And also, just being Saber Tiger gets you to these places even faster. Since I've recorded this run, I've actually learned the double hit strat on the ice block right here. Thank you, Barbecue Saws, for lighting a fire under my ass to learn how to do it. And honestly, it's very easy. Yeah, I might make a separate video about that, but literally you just walk right, and then at a very specific time, then you press triangle to start shooting the Gudon's flame in order to, well, break the ice block here and get this rune here. Now, there is a strat on going back down that I don't think that anyone else has actually found yet. And I'm not sure if it's that much faster, and I'm not sure if it's even worth it. However, you can get up on here. Now you see, it's a lot easier to jump down than it is to jump up. But these two walls are just close enough together, all of these walls. They're spaced out just perfectly enough to where you can transform into Saber Tiger. And if you jump off of the very, very edge of it, then you will, in fact, make it. You can also do it with Gargoyle with a double jump, because you get about the same height. But you can jump from wall to wall. And I've theorized that it may actually be faster to go down with Saber Tiger if you can do it perfectly every time. And I've practiced it a little bit. It's not terribly hard, but it's kind of difficult. Now comes a room that I have some trouble with, honestly. You can simply run in a half circle across all of those as opposed to taking your time and jumping. However, I've found that it's a bit more difficult for me because I play specifically using the D-pad and not the analog stick. My thumb gets caught up on the D-pad, so I have some trouble with it. But I would urge whoever is watching this, please just learn it. Don't be like me. I am terrible. Yeah. So we're going to go to the next little section here, which is the auto-scroller. It's very easy. You know, it starts off right, then left, and then there starts off right, then left, and then there are two that are randomized. Why are you exiting? Okay, that one was on the left, next one was on the left, and then it's two at the very end. So then you walk into this room down here, and this is Rune Pool. Rune Pool is honestly one of my favorite tricks in this entire game, to learn how to do well. Now, if you haven't watched my other video on the 0 cycle Rune Pool, go ahead and do that. I might actually put a card in the top right corner, or I'll put it in the link down below. Just go watch the video. I promise it's really cool and really swaggy. If someone were to be able to pull off the 0 cycle Rune Pool, hell, I might be willing to fucking, like, send you $50 or something just to prove that it can be humanly done. But that's out of the question for most people, especially when they're first learning. So this is the basic Rune Pool. This is fast Rune Pool. You transform into Gargoyle, you jump over. These rooms always spawn in the same location. They always rotate the same way, and you always have to jump on them in the exact same order. So it goes rainbow, sunshine, hills, weird Q thing, balloons. Okay. And then I wait for a little bit. And then it's cheetah. And then right about here, you can jump down onto the star. always the same. You just have to practice it. That is fast rune pool. There is a faster rune pool, which is in my New Game Plus run. It was the first time that I had ever attempted faster rune pool, and I got it. It's not nearly as hard as people think that it is, but it's not safe, and that's the issue. Unless you can do it reliably, or you're on such a mind-blowing pace that it doesn't matter if you fall in once. Yeah. It's nuts. Go watch that if you haven't. That's also really interesting. This next section, pretty basic. I transform into Gargoyle here. I have 9 health. I'm not really worried about it. You shouldn't get hit by this guy. His patterns are RNG. However, he always does the same archetype. He does 1 cycle of fire breath attacks, though those are randomized, and then he jumps a few times. I believe 5 times. And then on the second one, he does fire breath attacks. Yep, in a randomized pattern. And now I get to hit him. If he does 2 wide angle fire breath attacks, then after the second one, he will be vulnerable to be hit. You can only hit him when he is in that state. You know, he's got that look face on him. That's when he's able to be hit. So Gargoyle does the most damage here, and it's the safest so that you can jump over the fire attacks. So after that one, he jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I do a very specific thing right here. I line up right here in the center as close to the edge as I can at the end of this fight. And I do that for a very specific reason. I jump preemptively and I shoot my triangle attack, my sonic blast, so that it will hit him as soon as it can. And I immediately start running to the right because I'm off screen now. The moment that you kill the Skull Beast here, the platform, the wall that is separating one of these platforms that is off screen from the next area, that wall drops. So the outside platforms do not despawn. Only the inside platforms do. So when you're fighting Skull Beast, you could actually jump over there to the outside platform that's off screen and unable to be seen. But it won't do anything because there is an invisible barrier stopping you from going to the next area. So you'll get to see it now. Yeah, you briefly saw right here. Just there on the bottom left corner of the screen. That is the platform that I landed on. And now I hop onto the star here. I run through this other atelier. And I pick up the tiara. I pick up a couple of coins in here. If I'm low on health, I'll get my health back, which I needed because I was at 9 health and there's another boss fight coming up. And then I come into this side and I get the cube. When I get down to the bottom, I'm mashing X. I'm not holding it in order to skip that box faster. Now I'm going to skip some dialogue here in this fight. Well, before this fight, rather. I apologize for my slow internet. I am currently operating off of a mobile hotspot, and it is absolutely atrocious. I'm sorry. So, this is the Duke fight. So, Duke has a couple of attacks. You just saw one, which is a triple shuriken. And then he does a jumping triple shuriken. does a little ground pound, another triple shuriken here, and you can see his various different types of attacks that he can use. I got very lucky because he didn't use his shadow clones. Sometimes, because this fight is RNG, he will do shadow clones and they spin around you. There's 3 of them. You know, you're running around the stage and you're like, oh god, which one is which? You can't actually get to any of them. They're a fixed distance from you. And then after a minute or two, 2 of them will disappear. And then Duke will try to throw shurikens at you. He might try to do the ground pound. It really depends on what the RNG is like right then. So I kill him here. That was a halfway decent Duke fight. I didn't get the double hits on him that I wanted. You can only get double hits on him every now and then, and it's not super consistent, so I value getting a jumping attack because it does more damage on him, generally speaking. However, I have noticed that when he does the ground pound attack, he is more likely to be hit by 2-hit attacks. And so I would value that more in that scenario. Now here's the Skull Beast once again as we're trying to chase down Bella and Duke. He does a couple of attacks. All you have to do is hit him once. And then you can continue on to the next area. And in this next area, it's kind of a scroller area. I'm going to go with this one kind of play-by-play. So you need to transform into Saber Tiger because you're running away from the Skull Beast. There are a bunch of these falling spike balls. There's a pattern to them to get under them or around them as quick as possible. First one, you go down. You run around that one, and you always want to be towards the center of this stairwell. Because again, the way that these maps work, it's kind of strange. Imagine it like a racing line. You want to be running up this, and I'm tapping up as I'm holding right every now and then, just so that I can get closer to the center as I'm running around it. Second one, you're also going to run down to the bottom. This one, you're going to run down to the bottom, but the last one, you're actually going to hold up and right to go underneath it that way. And that is all for the underground ruins. You go back and talk to Klaus. He tells you, hey, go and find Fancy Mel. And so you go back to the gate, and you go to Fancy Mel's. And this is the most hated section of the speedrun by pretty much everybody in the community. It's a platforming section in a game that has no business trying to be a platformer. As you can see there, I had bad RNG. So these little guys running around, you have to run up to them and talk to them in order to play a mini game. You have to play 3 mini games before you can enter Mel's. As these guys are walking around, it's RNG as to exactly where they're going to be. They start out in the same positions, but they walk around in various patterns, and occasionally they trip, like you've just saw right there. I'll play it back for you so you can see it. Yep, and he just tripped, and I lost like 2 seconds there. And you can see I sigh. A heavy sigh, because that just happens. Thanks, game. For this first section, I stay Rue. Because honestly, it's not that bad. This is the hardest of the minigames, in my opinion, just because of these swings. This little section right here, you have to wait for it to go backwards and then go forwards again. And as you can see, the collision on these swings is very, very strange. This is why I hate this first one so much, is because some of the time it seems like I should be able to get on the swing. However, I'm off by a few pixels and I'm unable to get on it. That's why I used to do this section as Gargoyle. And now watch this. It does not... You cannot tell me that this looks right to you. I do not care who you are. Here, I'll just roll it back here. You cannot tell me that that looks right to you. That does not look like I'm going to hit it. And yet somehow the very tippy top of my foot collides with it. That's an annoying section. So I'm going to skip to the end of this one because it's really just a little platforming section. This area. So in two of these areas, well, at least one of these areas, you need to get a high enough score in order to get a silver coin so that you can sell it later. I like to be a bit more safe with my money routing, so I'll typically try to get 2 silver coins, one from the first minigame and one from the second minigame. But you only really need 1 as long as you're doing everything according to plan. So this section, blowing trumpets, here's what you want to do. As you can see, I got hit by, I'm trying to collect colored balls. I got hit by a black ball right there. The black balls are bad. Okay, you don't want to get hit by them, right? Because they knock you down. That's actually not true at all. You want to get hit by 3 of these black balls while you're collecting all these other balls, because once you get hit by 3, it spawns 1 wave of nothing but completely white balls. But then after that, it spawns a wave of nothing but black balls. But if you get hit by 3 of those black balls, it spawns another wave of nothing but white balls. Yeah, so I already have enough points in order to get a silver coin. However, I like seeing how many I can get. I don't know, because I'm weird. But my high score is like 1340 or something like that. Yeah, you don't have to go Saber Tiger there, by the way. Just as a side note, I like to, just because, I don't know, I like wasting a half a second to transform into Saber Tiger and see how high I can get my points. But then again, I'm weird. So the next section, the reason why we didn't start out with the first little guy right here, as opposed to going to the one on the right like we did, is because you spawn directly here in the center every time that you play a minigame. So we go to the one on the right first. And when we spawn here, we immediately start talking, or we immediately start mashing X right here. And as you can see, I was already through that dialogue by the time that the screen fully opened up. Now I get to go in and play this minigame. This one I do as Gargoyle. I find it's easier, it feels a bit faster. I don't get hit by things nearly as often. And yeah, it's just all around better to go Gargoyle on this section. You can actually get over that second imp there if you mash perfectly and, well, run off of there perfectly. But it's not super important. You have to spend the same amount of time in here either way. So now you have to kill, these guys are called fungi. I like to kill these guys, again, using Saber Tiger, because it's faster. I can kill more of them at a time because I do a dashing attack. And I like to be safe with my money. But you don't have to. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip through this section. It's more of the same, me just killing these guys. Now, once we respawn, we go all the way over here to the left, and we talk to the last guy. Trumpets blowing with joy, I believe. So, this section you do with Gargoyle. This is the only section in which you can actually save time. The other 2 sections, all you can do is lose time. So I go Gargoyle here, I jump over. You can jump all the way onto that part, double jump over here, make that gap right there. And normally, you would have to stand on the right edge of this little seesaw thing and wait for it to move right. But if you mash well, you can just go over it. Now on this one, this seesaw operates differently from the others. You have to jump on the left side and then jump on the right side and then on the left side, and it slowly moves it towards the right. However, if you mash right and jump at the perfect timing, you can just skip having to do all of that and make it right over here to the end. Now that's how you save time on this section. But you might be thinking, wait, but in the mini games after those little platforming sections, you have to wait through the entire time. Aha! Not so on this last one, though. This is the only one that you can actually lose out of. So, all we do is we stand here. Oh no, game over. Ah. And now we go up and we talk to Fancy Mel for a minute. And she invites you into her home. Very, very simple. She tells you about a missing friend of hers. And we know that he likes to be around the forest areas, so we go back to Corona Forest immediately and look for him. Sure enough, he is right there, being accosted by Smokey and Blood, our good old friends that we beat the hell out of a while back. This fight starts out differently. The camera's reversed. So in order to start out this fight properly, I hold down to run up, and then I start holding up. So I swap from holding down to holding up in order to go to this first little area. I hit him a couple of times, and this part, there's really no set. There's no set pattern for these guys, unlike in the first fight. I don't know if there's any RNG manipulation. We haven't really found any. You just got to be good at the fight and hope that you get good RNG for that. You beat them and they run off because they're little dummies who think that they're hot stuff, but they're not. And then we go back into Corona, the city of Corona, go to sleep, and then eventually we make it back to Mel's. We have a nice long talk here, several minute long cutscene, walking outside, and oh, who's this? It's Duke in a star costume. And this is my favorite person in the entire game, is Starlight Duke, because it is so ridiculous and just the biggest, like, massive brain move on his part. Like, ah, yes, I'll disguise myself as a star, but I need to keep my face out because otherwise I can't see and I can't really breathe. So I'm just going to be a star. And he learned how to hover in the air and be a star in order to come back here and fight you. For this fight, you go Imp. It's a very simple fight. Just make sure that you have as much MP as you can. He only has a couple of different attacks. One of them is him just falling over because the suit's kind of unwieldy. Listening to audio cues in this fight is very, very big because it'll tell you exactly what he's doing, even if you can't see him. And so here he's walking after me again, and he does a little jumping attack. So I attack him there, and now he's doing the pinwheel. Okay, his little shuriken attack. And as you can see, I used the, well, it wasn't the mushroom that time, it was actually the flower up there. And I jumped over him as he was flying towards me. If you get hit by his shuriken form, you will die. It's almost a guarantee because he just stun locks you and there's nothing that you can do. You can't escape the stun lock. So you need to make sure that you get out of there. And once again, he's following after me. and he jumps. And now there's only one more attack that I need to do on him in order to beat this fight. And he falls, and I get it. Now, he goes up in the air, and now he starts falling down. Well, you actually have to jump right there as he's falling down, because he can still do damage to you even though you've beat him in that form. So yeah, I'm sitting there kicking his butt because I hate the fight, but I love it so much. This next section, this is fun. So we have to go over here to Hobbs's shop. We have to go talk to Hobbs. Hobbs is the only person who will buy coins off of you. And we've picked up a couple of gold coins, and I'm going to sell all of those silver coins too while I'm at it. A couple of bronze coins and my monsters. I'm just mashing as quickly as I can to get through that section. Now, all I have to do is buy, and I'm done. Quick menuing, go to the next area. Next area is Ghost Temple. Ghost Temple is an absolute make it or break it area in this speedrun. It's one of the few sections where you can unintentionally mess up your monster rotation, and it is unrecoverable for the rest of the game. So you pretty much just lose an entire run, like an entire pretty much hour's worth of work on a run in this one section. So I'm going to do, this is the first little section, okay? You know, after you walk in, you go down and you go to the left, and you wind up in here. There's a little cutscene that plays. Here's where we utilize our first little glitch, if you will. I transform into the Saber Tiger. He is the oldest monster in my stack, as you can only carry 4 monster tokens with you. Well, what happens if you stay as the oldest monster in your stack, but you get a new token? So technically, I don't have the Saber Tiger token in my monster stack right now. However, you can still stay as Saber Tiger, but if you press the transform button, you will automatically be booted out of the Saber Tiger form and back into Rue's base form. So now I come over here, I use a couple of thrusting attacks on this Spectre right here in order to get his token, and I'm into the next section. Well, luckily enough, in this room right here, I killed 2 more puppets, and there's a Saber Tiger that spawns. So now he's back in my stack, and if I accidentally press the transform button, it doesn't matter, because now he's first in my stack. That is a very hard jump to do right there, and you have to use Saber Tiger in order to do that jump. Just fun little fact for you. Now I turn back into Rue. I kill this puppet here. I jump up on here. Yeah. Next is the Chimera fight. Chimera is terrifying and scared the hell out of me as a kid. And honestly, I am a grown man of 26 years old, and it is still kinda spooky to me. Yeah. This fight's very interesting. As you can see, I am using first hit attacks on him, and he is doing nothing. He's just doing nothing at all. Because you can stun lock enemies with first hit jab. However, you have to do it perfectly in order to fully stun lock them. I have stun locked him for a while now, but right there I messed up my timing just slightly. Just ever so slightly, and he was able to act, and he got a hit in. So I stand up, I start stun locking him again. Because if you can get a stun lock on him, that means that you don't have to worry about your health, you don't have to worry about your MP. it's not necessarily the fastest way of going about it, but because all of his moves are RNG, you might not get this form right here, which I've just got, where he pops a little third head out. That's when he's the most vulnerable. He doesn't do any attacks. If you transform into Spectre, you do tons of damage to him. I was very lucky right here and got a double pop. So, that's Chimera 1. Skipping to the next section, here's where you see the skeletons. Over on the right side of this, there's actually a health pool, but I don't need that. So, I get a skeleton, I transform back into Saber Tiger. I'm going up. We're having a good time here. I'm going to put it back on 2x speed. And here we go. I go into this room right here, kill 2 specters like normal, get an Utang. Transform into the skeleton here. Now, normally you don't want to turn into the skeleton. My mind was in 5 different places at once as I was trying to do this, and also I wanted to test skeleton strats because skeleton actually attacks faster than Rue does, and does about the same damage, so you get more DPS with skeleton. But let's watch how this goes. Yeah, as you can see, I couldn't stun lock him really. However, again, he's doing about the same amount of damage. And yeah, so that fight's over. In this second fight, he does have one new attack. That attack is he'll stop in place, wait for a split second, and then he'll blow a big old breath of fire out at you. So you have to be careful about that one, because it will do a lot of damage to you, especially if you're in base Rue form. Go forwards, kill 2 specters, and this is why we needed the Utang, was to jump over that. Now we go to the skeleton again, drop down, and I decided to go Rue for this last Chimera fight here. And see, third Chimera fight, when he pops his third head out, he blows fire. You can hit him a couple of times, like about 2 times, 2 perfect first hit attacks, when you hear the sound of him popping his third head out. And then you transform into Spectre here and try to attack him there. I didn't intend on transforming into Utang there, but such is life. Yeah, now I'm angry, and so I'm just going all out on him. Not really caring too much. And I get the kill. And it's a bad fight. And I wasn't happy about it. Let's move on. So now there's a little trick right here. You kill a Utang. This trick right here, if you run directly up, you have to put out all of these torches. If you run directly up and you move directly in towards the wall, I didn't get it here, but you can actually hit this far torch on the top right side there, which is very nice. This section right here, some people might not know about it. As you're running over, you can actually run into the very corner of the door, and it will trigger the cutscene of you being like, oh, the door's open. So that saves about, a quarter of a second or so. I transform into Saber Tiger here. I run around because it's just faster. Elena has infiltrated, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip forwards to this fight right here. This part's kind of important. You have to press triangle in order to call Elena to you. You want to call Elena to you while you are just barely in front of her so that she gets into the center of this platform here. Because you do a little animation, like an auto run animation of you running down next to her to tell her to get out of the way. So here I'm going to kill some skeletons and some puppets. As you can see there, I was hitting him through the wall there. You can actually hit these enemies through the wall, and you want to run down to the very center on the bottom part of this platform because there's once again an automatic running animation. Here I'm going to transform into the Saber Tiger. And I'm going to attack these skeletons here, kill all of them, and run back over to the right. And all of this is just for speed. Now I kill 3 puppets, come in here, get that stone, run up here. I no longer have Saber Tiger. So I transform into the Stinger, because you have to be Stinger in order to get into this little room here. Yeah, and it's pretty much an auto-scroller from right here. You're hitting buttons and going places and whatnot. This is when the run gets kind of spooky. So right here, you want to kill the Spectre. You need the Spectre for later on in the game. Hop on this platform to teleport as the puppet. She gets taken. So there's actually a thing that you can do here, which I didn't really start doing until just after I did this run. But if you wait to break down this door until later on in the run, Elena's there, and she talks to you on top of the dialogue boxes that just popped up. So that's even more time that you have to skip. So in my mind, oh, it's even faster to do it right now. But there's actually a way to do it even faster. Over there on the right side of the screen, where I hit the switch to open that door earlier on before Elena and I got separated, if you run over there as the puppet, aim up and use your triangle attack, because you can use attacks in that area around the switch, you go up and you hit the door, and it skips all of the text boxes, and you don't have to worry about any of them. And then you can just jump over here on this section and teleport out. This is where things get frustrating. So, you teleport into this room. There's a Saber Tiger there. Of course we want Saber Tiger. We always want Saber Tiger for as long as we can have him, because he's so fast. We don't have Skeleton, though. We have knocked Skeleton out of the rotation. So here's the issue. I'm going to kill Saber Tiger. I'm going to get up here, and I'm going to kill these skeletons while standing up here. Now, before we knew this strat, thank you, Retro Tweak, for finding this strat. Before we had this strat, we just had to kind of kite them around and hope that we could be far enough away from them so that we didn't accidentally pick up their token, because that would mess up our monster stack for the rest of the game. Getting up there gives you a bit more distance, and it's a bit safer than fighting them on the ground. So now I have that. I'm going to transform into Puppet, go back in this room that I was in a minute ago, transform Saber Tiger, hold down until we get into this room that's on the right side. And this is the same room that I was in when I got the freaking hedgehog guy. Why can't I remember his name right now? Oh well. So Elena's in there. They've captured her. So I kill 3 puppets here. And they're frustrating me all to hell. Now, behind this door, there are 3 skeletons. I know that there are 3 skeletons. So I hit one of them. I didn't intend on killing one of them. I intended on hitting them all through the door one time, because it takes 3 hits to kill a skeleton. Well, as I was coming through, I accidentally killed one because I was matching attack. But that's okay, because I managed to save it and move around. But normally you'd want to get up on top of the boxes up there in order to hit them. I found the best strat for that area is waiting in the doorway for all three of them to get in the doorway, doing one jumping attack, running into that room, getting on the boxes, and hitting each of them with one basic first hit. And that kills them. It's fast, it's easy, it's predictable. Trust me. Now it's pretty much just retracing our steps all the way down until we get into this room, call Elena over. It's a pseudo platforming section. It's kind of frustrating because you just have to sit and wait. And yeah. Next is the Duke fight. This is Fists of Fire Duke. This fight's also kind of frustrating. This fight is very RNG based, just like a lot of the other fights. However, as you know from the Chimera fights, we can stun lock Duke, and Duke actually is very easy to stun lock. As long as you get him, there's a little bit more room for sloppiness in this fight. I'm going to take a drink of some water real quick. Please excuse me. Sorry about that. So in this fight, there's a little bit more room for slop, a little bit more room for error, but not by a large margin at all. So you immediately start by running down and getting first hit combo on Duke. Now, as you can see right there, some strange things happened. He managed to break out of it in a very strange way, and both of those boxes that were around him got hit and exploded. And now here I am trying to get him back in the first hit combo. I accidentally did a second hit because the timing on it's so tight. Once again, first hits. And I just decided to mash that one out because he was at low enough health that I could. And I knew that it would all combo and I wouldn't have to worry about a whole cycle of him, shooting his little green energy blasts around himself. So, if you can first hit combo him, excellent. A strat that I did for a long time was doing a wake up jumping attack. So I would jumping attack one time to knock him on the ground. And I would time my attack after that so that I would jump as he was getting up. And right when he stood up, I was hitting him with another jumping attack, which would knock him down again. And so that was my form of stun locking him for a while. And it was good. It works. It's just a bit less consistent, I think. Yeah. So, that's this section pretty much done. You beat the crap out of him. Elena's like, oh no, are you hurt, Duke? Because, she's empathetic. She's a sweet girl. All of the doors are locked and the wall is closing in on you, trying to crush you. So you run over here to this section. This section of the wall. And you have to start breaking it down. Well, first hit combos are the fastest, so that's what we do. If we were able to transform into Saber Tiger here, I most definitely would. Because that would be even faster to break down the wall. But there's no way that I can, that we know of at least. So then there's all this dialogue that happens. And then we go to Raging Mountain. Transform into Saber Tiger here. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. I'll do about 1.5. So go down here. I cut that angle so that I can transform back into Rue. You want to hit Bubba there 4 times with jumping attacks. hit this boulder with Bubba, immediately transform back into Saber Tiger, run up here to the top, run over to the right. And then I transform here into Spectre, so that I can kill these Polywogs at long range without having to worry about getting their tokens. I transform Saber Tiger here, run to the right, I get hit there, it's okay. This section is actually easiest with Saber Tiger, because as you can see, there are Gudons here. There are Gudons scattered throughout this place. There's like 2 or 3 of them. And they will sweep you off with their little whirling, like spinning attack and knock you into the lava, which does like 30 to 40 damage to you. But if you're just careful and methodical with your movement, you can make it up. This section's annoying because there's wind blowing you down the mountain. So if you're not Saber Tiger, it's a lot harder to get through that section, and you have to fall off in order to like be able to get over those gaps. So that's frustrating. Now we have the first fight with Bella and Duke. This fight's frustrating. It can be difficult. Best practice is to hit Duke. Get him out of the way as much as you can while hitting Bella as she's coming down to try and grab you with the hexagon is the name of the giant robot. It is possible to get multiple attacks on her. It's just very difficult, and you have to kind of wedge yourself in between the hexagon and the edge of the stage there. And as you can see, I was trying to go for it there, but I did not get it. And you can do the same thing that I was talking about earlier with landing attack on Bella. This was a very bad Bella fight here for me. I wasn't able to get the stun lock on her very well, but I did it a few times in a row, which is acceptable. I have low health, so I'm going to run over here to the right, get that free HP, and then we just climb up this mountain. Now, I like to jump a little early to get onto that platform that I was just on there, so that the fire blob up top here will go for an attack. They usually go for a headbutt first, which gives me enough time to be able to get onto that platform and then jump up past him without having to defeat him. I wanted more HP. Excuse me. I wanted more HP. That's why I attacked those black polywogs there, because the black polywogs don't actually drop a token. They only drop either HP or MP, which is very nice to know. Now you have to fight Wayla. Wayla is a dragon, and they're very scary. So I transform into Spectre. Spectre does the most damage here. You want to be using Spectre's X attack. You want to avoid all of that fire because it does a ton of damage. It actually is possible. Yeah, you could see there, I just got bounced off like 2 of them. Yeah, and it took me down to 27 HP. It is possible with good RNG. I don't know if there's RNG manipulation again, but it is possible to get multiple hits on Wayla when they land. It's very finicky and very strange. I'm pretty sure in one of my earlier runs, I actually had a Wayla fight where I got like 2, maybe 3 in a row on them. So that's the Wayla fight. Next, let me see what's happening. So you go and you talk to Mel again. Please load the video. Thank you. So you go and you talk to Mel again. And now you have to fight Gorotan. Gorotan is a giant cat, and it's honestly really cute, and I want one. So you can hit him when when the stars pop out, when the little bat, cat, star things pop out. You can hit him 5 times and then move until he gets low HP, and then you can only hit him 3 times. As you can see, I did that fight pretty well. Pretty well. Again, it's 5 attacks until he gets low HP to like a third of his HP bar, and then it's 3 attacks in between each one. So next is the rod fight. After a little race sequence with Pramadol. Please load. Please just load. Thank you. So I come over here, and this is one of the issues that I've had in a couple of my runs. Okay, is you have to have 100 gold right here in order to fight him. And I didn't have it in this run. And that wasted 20 seconds or so. Maybe 30 seconds. Because I wasn't paying close enough attention to my money. So the rod fight's kind of frustrating. He's only able to be hit once he's already attacked you. Best way to do it is to get 2 grounded attacks on him. Again, he has a couple of different attacks that he can go through. And you can see there, I beat him. It's just jumping out of the way when he swings his attacks. If he puts his hammer down on the ground and it starts to like, do this whirlwind thing, it'll shoot you up in the air, lowers your defense. It's annoying. He does more damage to you that way. But all in all, it's not a bad fight. It's just kind of annoying. But once you learn the patterns and you learn how to be cautious about it, it's perfectly fine. You go to the, use him to go to the lake ruins. There's a big fight that happens. Blah, blah, blah. There's really not a whole lot to say about that area. You go and check out some stuff. You buy and sell again. And then there's this section where you wake up at night. And you see Claire, your dead girlfriend, who this entire game is about you going and finding. You go through this section, you go over here to the right. It's really just an auto-scroller, like, I say it's an auto-scroller, but you have to be running through here. There's some dialogue tech that you could learn, but it's really not that important. It's really just mashing at the right spots. And then she goes up here. Now you get to meet Psychomaster. Psychomaster is one of my other favorite characters in this game. So, to start off the fight, I run around behind him, I hit him twice. And you want to always be able to react to where he is as fast as possible. And you can only get 2 hits on him. Sometimes you'll miss, because he'll teleport out too quick. Now, if you're unlucky, he'll do this move right here. If you can react to it fast enough, you can run away from him. Or if you can get behind him fast enough, right before he does this move, you can still hit him and he'll disappear. But the next time he appears, he'll immediately go into that same animation and try to grab you. And then, do damage to you, knock you off. But if you're good, when he does reappear and starts going into that grabbing animation, you can actually jump over him and hit him with a jumping attack on his back before he can actually do anything. And usually that will cancel that animation completely. He won't try to go for that the next time he reappears. So now I'm just reacting to where he shows up at. Usually trying to stay in the center as much as I can. As you can see right there, I attacked him even though he started going into that grabbing animation because I was already behind him. So that is the Psychomaster I fight. Now it's time for the Tower of Maya. You go into the Tower of Maya. Please. You run all the way up. Okay. I like to get this wabbit here. And yes, they are called wabbits with a W. It's goofy. I come over here just to pull them off on the side so I don't have to worry about them and I give myself more room to move. Because these pumpkins here, you don't want to get. I use wabbit because it has a long range attack, while it's swinging out its wings, and it kind of knocks them away with the first attack. So you're far less likely to pick up the pumpkin token if you use wabbit. I killed that wabbit there. Get this chest, which has 2 gold coins. Jump over, right side, left side. And if you double jump right there really well, you can just jump that gap completely and not worry about jumping on the last platform. This section's kind of self-explanatory. You kill pumpkins. I died. I don't know how I died. I'm not going to talk about it. But this is a very good section for you to lose HP on. If you simply keep walking off the side there, you will continue to take, I think it's like 15 damage or so every time you walk off, which is a very good thing for the upcoming area, as long as you're good. So I'm going to kill this wabbit here. I'm going to try to kill this wabbit. Yep, I do it successfully. And I kill these pumpkins over here, try to not pick up their tokens, get this chest, come in here. This area is very interesting. There are 2 paths that you can choose. One of them's a lot easier, one of them's a lot harder. I'm going with the easy strat right now, which is running over here to this wabbit on this platform. I was like, oh wait, how is he not dead? Because normally 2 attacks will kill him. And you jump up on here. Normally, you're supposed to run all the way over to the right side, slowly kill all of these wabbits, and then eventually make your way to the left platform. But you can just jump, kill the wabbit that's on that platform, and then jump on it if you get good double jumps. Now, I do want to say the platform, the 3rd wabbit that's on the far right of the screen, you can jump up, kill that wabbit, jump onto that platform that he's standing on, that little pillar, and then if you jump just right, you can make it all the way over to the end. And that way is probably faster, very, very slightly. But it's also a lot more difficult. So I decided to not go for it and to go for this instead. I run back here, get this token, run up this little area right here, and I want to take some damage here. Okay? I want to take like 1 or 2 attacks. Yeah. So that I can be low HP. and that was pretty much perfect. I got attacked one time more than I wanted to, but that's fine. The reason for that is this next fight right here. Skip all of this audio, or not audio, this text. And eventually, eventually we fight Dollmaster. Yeah, oh no, I killed Claire. So we fight Dollmaster. You have to die to Dollmaster. It's a forced death. I hate that in games, but it's a thing. You know? Oh well. So you want to get into this area as quickly as possible with as little HP as possible. He does about 8 damage to you with every swing, whereas other enemies in this area do anywhere from 8 to 14 damage to you, depending upon what monster transformation you're in. So it's easier to get hit by other things in this, and then slowly make your way to him. Next is the Athanasius fight. And I still maintain that I have the best Athanasius in the world. I don't think it's in this run, but it's in one of my last few runs. Jump over to the right, jumping attack, and then you just first hit him. Okay. He shoots these out. Okay, whatever, that's fine. First hits. You actually can kill him before this transformation right there. Yeah, that was not a good Athanasius, but not a bad Athanasius. You just got to know when you're supposed to jump and when you need to start doing first hit attacks. All right. Time for Mountain 2, Electric Boogaloo. So we have to go back to Raging Mountain. Just because. But this time, we already have pretty much all of the monsters that we need. So we're just going to kind of speed through here. I'm using the Wabbit there. Run up into this section and oh no, we meet Trumpmaster again. This time we have to fight him. And he is a cocky motherfucker. So, going Wabbit versus this guy, you can actually combo him fairly well. As you can see there. I was the first one to find that, I believe. And it's just easy mode. Because he'll do various attacks. And as long as you're in the Wabbit form, you can just double jump like away from everything and not have to worry about it. So, same thing as before here, transform into Saber Tiger, jump over that whole lava section. And now we have to fight Modemaster. And it starts out with us fighting ourselves, and then she transforms into a couple of different forms, and it's RNG as to what she's going to transform into. But you want 2 different transformations. You want either the Bubba transformation or God, I don't even know the name of the monster. I don't think there is an official name for the monster, but it's like a giant dog beast thing. Um, yeah, weird demon looking creature. Um, and the reason for that is because they are very weak against Spectre. Spectre does a ton of damage and it can stun lock them. So, you want to try and react as fast as possible. And there's actually a considerable amount more lag when she is transforming into either Bubba or that other monster than when she transforms into, say, Gargoyle. And so if you can react just to the lag, which is what I try to do most of the time, then you'll be even faster in your transformations and you're less likely to get hit. Because even though Bubba and the other monster are very weak against Spectre, Spectre is also very weak against them and takes a ton of damage from them. And they can also stun lock you to death. So it's a glass cannon strat. But honestly, it's worth it. So, same wind section here. Now this section's fun. This section, I transform into Wabbit. I'm actually going to roll this back and play it in regular speed because there is one thing that I want to note about this area right up here. So you can double jump here. That section right up there where the fire blob is up top, you can actually double jump straight up there to him. I didn't want to go for it on this run because I was at 15 HP and I didn't want to risk getting hit by him and potentially killed. But just know you can. So then we go to Arena. Well, Valen's Fortress. And the 4 arenas. So, Arena 1 starts off, I go Saber Tiger, go up 1. I transform into Wabbit. Because it moves away. Yeah, I got killed there. That was a rookie mistake. I go Wabbit there just because it's easier to kill the gargoyles, and I don't want to pick up their tokens. I just really don't. They're not useful and it messes up my monster stat. So I'm going to hit these guys and then go up to the next area. And I'm just running around. Those are the monsters that Modemaster will turn into. And as you play the game more, you'll learn the route better. You'll learn how to get through these arenas. Now, I'm going to go Wabbit here. And the reason why I go Wabbit is because it allows me to get through this little kind of dumpy platforming section here a lot easier and a lot faster. So, the reason why I don't want Gargoyle, and I'm cautious of picking up Gargoyle's tokens, is because Gargoyle cannot activate that button right there like Wabbit can. And I fell off because I'm choking. You want to get across and you want to not take any damage so that you can avoid the timer counting down because it heals you. So that saves time there. I stay Wabbit for this section because I don't particularly feel like taking damage. I go up here, transform into Bubba. That's the last time we use Bubba. Go up 1 more. And this is where we get Hellhound. go up one more, and then I'm going to go right and use, I believe, Hellhound's Fire Breath attack. Yeah, in order to break that ice block. Then I go down. And then right here, transform back into Hellhound because there are no enemies in this section. And I use his Ice Breath, transform back into Wabbit, and then I do the next little platforming section. This one, it's very nice. You can just jump straight across and not have to worry about it. Now, if I didn't take damage to Hellhound that one time, I would have been through there a second or two faster, which is fine. This is your first time encountering the Djinn. You have to be careful and jump at a very specific timing, so as to avoid the Djinn's attacks as Hellhound. Once again, going Wabbit for this section. And I did get hit a couple of times by the Djinn, so gonna lose me a couple of seconds there. But that's fine. This next section is very easy. You go Hellhound, it's a big H shape, pretty much, but with teleporters. You use the Fire Breath attack on them. It's really nothing special. All right. Last little platforming section. I'm going to be careful. And see, that's what happens when you didn't lose any health. You save time. I'm going to go Hellhound here. Go on ahead over here to this little teleporter. That was a save area, by the way. So now it's puzzles. And the hit detection on these little torches is so bad. So I'm going to go ahead and decide I want some MP, and also I need to get the Djinn token. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And here I'll transform. And I got it first try on that one. Didn't get it first try on this one, so I have to line up better and make sure that I hit it. Because again, the hit detection on those torches is really funky. I'm going to do the first room here. I said, screw that one. I'll just try and do this one. Cool, I got it. Yeah, occasionally you can just straight up walk out of that door there and just get double hit by both of the Hellhounds that spawn there. And then in this room, you have to light both of the fires. And again, I'm going Hellhound on these specifically because he's fast. He's as fast as the Saber Tiger is, I believe. In this last section, you have to put out this fire, light this fire, and then use the Djinn's wind attack in order to fan that flame there. And you walk it all the way around to the front. And yes. Next is Psychomaster Ii. This time he has a little arena, a little boxing ring for you. Yeah. And now, oh dear Lord, he's opened his eyes. He's activated his full powers. It's pretty much the same fight as before, except if he knocks you into the walls. Oh, you could see the trick that I did right here. He went into the animation to do the grab. Ah, yeah, see. That one, he did it 3 times in a row, which is okay. And now he did his little circle attack, but that's okay. Coming around, I'm just beating him up as much as I can. And you don't even have to be completely behind him. You just have to be, imagine like a half circle that starts at his left side and his right side. Anywhere behind the edges of that half circle, it will detect the hit and not, well, hit you back. Yep, and I beat him right there. And that was a decent Psychomaster Ii fight. Next is a boss rush section. Boss rush. It's bosses you've already fought before, but now you have in-game gear and in-game monsters. I just one-hit Nightmare with the Hellhound. Now I'm going to come over here. I use the Djinn on this part, but you don't have to. Some people use the Hellhound. Some people use the Gargoyle because they choose to get it. I was actually doing an experiment in this to see how many hits it would take, how much damage it would do to use Djinn's second attack, his second physical attack. And it takes 4 hits. It takes 3 hits with Saber Tiger, or not Saber Tiger, sorry, with Hellhound. But I'm pretty sure Djinn's triangle attack, his little wind attack, you can beat him in 3 hits as well. And then this section I pretty much always do as Rue, because you want MP going into the next fight. So again, we've already fought Chimera before. I'm just being kind of careful on this one because I have low HP. Yeah, and I kill him fairly easily. Then I go straight down here, get a full refill, but it doesn't refill your MP, only your HP. For the Dollmaster fight, we're going to be going exclusively Hellhound. So we want MP. Let's see. So I immediately transform into Hellhound. He's going to hit me. That's fine. He does that every time if you transform into Hellhound. I immediately hit him with a triangle attack. He hits me again. A lot of times, if you get the full hit on Dollmaster, he'll go into a knockdown state. So you run away from him a little bit, and he'll do this lunging attack. Then you do the triangle attack again, which knocks him down, run away a little bit. He does a lunging attack. it's essentially just a loop. So I do it there, but I missed the attacks on him because I was aimed just off. But right there, you can see I knocked him down, and now he's gotten up. And I was spaced just a little wrong for that. He's knocked down again, and that's the Dollmaster fight. That was a decent fight. Honestly, not my best fight ever. The splits on screen are incorrect. This is like maybe half of all of my runs. And that's against my personal best, by the way. My personal best segments. Next is the Valen 1 fight. So, Valen 1 fight. I actually got a really nice start there with Valen coming directly at me. Valen has a bunch of different forms. And ideally, you don't miss any attacks on him. But I missed 2. So this was actually a very slow Valen fight. Yeah, and again, the splits down here, that's not my actual best segment. That's like half of all of the runs that I've done. And especially in these later segments where the strats are pretty much unchanged, yeah, it's not my best fight ever. So now we're going to go into the last fight. This fight also is RNG, though we may have found some RNG manipulation. And my computer is being goofy, as is my internet. Alright, cool. So, I'm feeling good about myself. This is the only form that you can actually hit him in, is that form right there. So, as you can tell, I'm feeling myself right there. I'm having a good time. Yeah, it's very simple. You just run away from the different forms. The frog form, and you just kind of run away from, try to not get hit by, hope that he goes away quickly. This is not always an exact set pattern, but you can run in an exact set pattern and it will always be the same. You will always avoid the attacks. So that one, that's always the same. He always shoots those little balls at you, and then you can jump up and hit him. Yeah, it's honestly a pretty easy fight. It's just a matter of getting good RNG. And in this fight, got decent RNG. I didn't get good RNG, but I didn't get bad RNG, really. So, yeah. The only thing that's left is kind of, running around town after a long cutscene and talking to various people. And there's not really any tech in any of that section. Yeah, there's really nothing. except for maybe here. I think this might be the only, like, pseudo tech is right there. After you go in there and you talk to Bella and Duke, as you're running out, you just run straight down, jump up, bonk your head, and there's just enough room for you to like squeeze through that gap there, and then open the door. That's pretty much it. So, I'm not even sure exactly how long this has been. An hour and 40 minutes. Wow. Dear Lord. So, if you've stuck with me through all of this, thank you so much. Sorry about all of the ramblings and, some of the, technical difficulties here. But, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. And, yeah, if you have any questions about the speed run, any questions about the game in general, ask away. I'm an open book. I don't hide strategies or anything unless they're like really, really good and I want to be the one to debut them in a run. But that's pretty much never. So yeah, big thanks to Retro Tweak for showing me some strats. Shout outs to Barbecue Saws. When my hands get better, I'm coming for you, dude. You are not gonna have a full board sweep. Not on my watch. Well, not on Healthy Me's watch. And also, thanks to Shiny Tentacruel for like gathering the community and rallying us together. Yeah. Hit the subscribe button if you want. I guess I'm not your real mom. I'm just your stepmom, and your dad said you ain't gotta call me mom. So like, do what you want. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.